Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the player ratings. The Pies get up in the massive Anzac Day clash, 107 to 66, 16-11 to 10-6. Another stubborn Collingwood defense, stubborn Collingwood performance in the back line, led by Jeremy Howe, and we'll probably get to him very soon. But 13 games unbeaten when a player name with the surname Daicos leads as the captain. Between Peter and Nick, 13-0. Collingwood are undefeated. So call me superstitious, but if when we do make it to the grand final, do we just make Nick Daicos the skipper if we have an undefeated record? So I'm putting it out there now. But let's start with Jeremy Howe, guys. Jeremy Howe. So we lose Darcy Moore, and we're thinking, all right, TJ, maybe he comes in. Charlie Dean, does he get one more? Is this one of his final looks at AFL level? That didn't eventuate. Collingwood stuck, or Fly went a completely different way. He kept our defense relatively short against the side that had some pretty handy, lengthy plays in the forward half. But they had Harrison Jones, they had Nate Caddy, they had Peter Wright, they had Langford. That's not a small forward line. So kudos to Fly because the plan works again, but it also points to the fact that you play good team defense, and sometimes it's not about the personnel, it's about the system. The system trumps personnel. But there were players like Jeremy Howe who had 21 disposals, 2 contested marks, and 5 intercept marks. And he just plays above his height. There's a sense of calmness and just trust when the ball is in dispute in the air, when Jeremy Howe is within the vicinity. Safe as houses. I say this every time I talk about the great man. We're going to miss him when he retires. Jeremy Howe, the way he plays and the way he's able to uphold the standard that he brings into every game and walks out with, he could play another 3-4 years. I mean, he doesn't need to be fast. He doesn't even need to take speckies anymore. His timing in the air is his trump card against any of his opposition. He understands the forward craft because he was a forward, and then he takes that into the back line. Yeah, he probably deserves more credit than he really gets. There's a world where Jeremy Howe should be getting coaches' votes for this game. This would have to be one of Jeremy Howe's most important games for Collingwood, given the occasion, given the absences in the back line. For me, guys, I'm going to give Jeremy Howe 21 touches. It's hard for me to not to give him anything less than a 9. Whether I give him a 9 or 9.5, does it really matter? I'm going to give him a 9.5 due to the context of the game. That was Jeremy Howe at his very best. And I want to segue this into the very next player who is a key defender for us, but he actually doesn't get listed in the back six when the ball was first bounced. I'm talking about Darcy Cameron. Jeremy Howe, the defender, had 5 intercept marks. Guess what? Darcy Cameron matched that. He had 5 of his own intercept marks in our back half. 16 touches, 7 contested possessions to go with it, 5 clearances, 5 score involvements. This guy, Darcy Cameron has almost been our Nathan Murphy replacement. He plays 2 positions. He is a defensive anchor in our backline. I'm telling you, if we lose Darcy Cameron, that will hurt the most, more than anything. Obviously, you can make a case for Nick Daicos, Scott Pendlebury, Darcy Moore even. I think Darcy Cameron is our most important player structurally because he offers so much. Kicks a goal when he goes forward, as he did today. Competes in the middle, in the ruck duels. Outruns his opposition. and chops out players like Billy Frampton and Darcy Moore on a weekly basis. Darcy Cameron, 9 out of 10. And he's probably, I'll call it now, he probably will be our Copeland Trophy medalist. It'll be close. Side bottom's probably right there. But yeah, as far as priorities are concerned, out of Darcy Cameron, Braden Maynard, and Bobby Hill, I think he is priority number one. As Michael says in the chat, he is priority number one. People might have a little bit of PTSD from the Brodie Grundy contract. The difference is, I think DC is just genuinely a better ruckman than Brodie Grundy and offers a lot more than what Brodie has. So yeah, 9 out of 10 for DC. We've got a 9.5 for Jeremy Howe. Who should we go to next, guys? Let's talk about Bobby Hill. So I was speaking to my mate at the game, and maybe, probably very early in the second half, we go, yeah, Bobby's been quiet. He sort of hasn't really seen it too much. But then we're like, small forwards, sometimes they're going to have these type of games, and who knows, they just need a quarter. They just need 10 minutes. And that 10-minute burst from Bobby Hill in that third quarter, that goal, that intercept mark off half back, he was pretty much the embodiment of what a small forward needs to do when they're not necessarily having their day. And while other small forwards like Jamie Elliott has their day out, their big day out, Bobby Hill says, all right, that's fine. I'll just come in and do a job when it needs to be done. And he did that. He's not going to get the best rating. I think that's fair enough, but he was important in moments, and I rate that very highly. He helped us bounce back when we were under the pump, when we were under duress. I'm still going to give Bobby a 7 out of 10. You have to respect the moments in the game that pretty much wrestles with the momentum into our favor. So for me, 7 touches, it's not a lot. 1 goal, it's not a lot. 2 tackles, 1 goal assist, but 6 score involvements from his 7 touches. It's a big return. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 for me still. 7 out of 10. You guys are saying IQ, Ned Long. Anyone else? Yeah, okay. So IQ, I think it's just another game where he's not required to have too much impact statistically. 10 touches, 6 tackles is pretty decent. Only 1 intercept mark, but just he doesn't get beaten. He doesn't get beaten. He doesn't need to take the intercept marks. As long as he's not getting beaten by his opposition and he's helping at ground level, that's fine. I'll give IQ just a 6 out of 10. Ned Long. He was big in some moments. 22 touches, 6 inside 50s, a goal, 9 score involvements, 3 goal assists. He finds a really good way to roll into the forward 50 and find little holes to get those little chip kicks that he got from like a Nick Daicos. He stands up strong when he receives a kick in a corridor when we're trying to break open the game. He stands up strong with strong hands, hence the contested mark stat that he got, just the 1, which is important. Kick the goal, 3 goal assists, 9 score involvements. What more are you asking from Ned Long at this point? I'm going to say Ned Long gets a 7.5. 7.5. Let's talk about Jamie Elliott. I think he was a little bit stiff. And if I want to play devil's advocate against Steel Side, it was amazing Steel Side bottom, but only 3 score involvements from the 35 touches. You can make the argument that, while there were only 3 score involvements from Steel Side Bottom's 35 disposals, it did give us a lot of territory. And we may have not scored from that exact chain, but most likely those repeat chains after that stemmed from Side Bottom's initial clearances and touches probably led to a goal. I think Jamie Elliott, 19 touches, 5 goals, 11 score involvements, a contested mark, 1 goal assist. I think it was hard done by, but it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I still think Sidey was a a worthy winner of the medal. But yeah, I think Jamie Elliott, for me, was best on ground. Jamie Elliott gets a 10 out of 10. What more are you asking for from a small forward when you walk out of an Anzac Day game with 19 touches and 5 goals and a goal assist and 11 score involvements? Some are saying 9, 7.5, 8.5. It's a 10. It's a 10. How can you not give Jamie Elliott a 10? Ken Fisher says, wow, 10. Yeah. I mean, one more. What else does he need to do to get the 10 out of 10? Kick them when it mattered. Kick them when it mattered. Michael says, agree, can't ask for more from Jamie Elliott. Who else can we talk about? It's a shame they don't give 2 medals. Jamie Elliott, absolutely incredible, says Janet. Good point. Good point. At this point, you probably need to have a midfielder medal for the Anzac Day and then a medal for somebody else who doesn't play in the midfield, because in another dimension, you're probably saying Jeremy Howe could have been the Anzac Day medalist today. Just saying. Let's go with one more. I think there's a bit of conjecture around Patrick Lipinski's performance today. I think it wasn't his best game. He had 20 touches and 4 score involvements, which is like, 8 contested possessions, 3 inside 50s. I think he's been better. I thought he was a bit fumbly. There was a few moans around the field or groans around the field. Not moans, because moans would imply that is a good sensation that they're feeling. But a groan is quite the opposite, right? That's what the crowd was saying, guys. It was ubiquitous across the ground. But he wasn't bad. I just thought, okay, yeah. And yes, it was wet. I understand players are going to be fumbly, but he was a little bit extra fumbly. I bleed black and white, guys, but to be critical of players, I'm going to do that sometimes. I'm going to, play both sides of the field. 20 touches. I probably give Patrick Lipinski a 5 out of 10. And all preseason, I was his biggest fan. I thought he was having a really good preseason. He's having a really good year, but yeah, he's just a little bit fumbly today, a little bit too fumbly for my liking. And we'll finish with Nick Daicos, seeing as he captained the side today for the first time. 31 touches, 14 contested possessions, 11 clearances, 9 score involvements, 2 goal assists. To be, you know what? Again, to be harsh, 2 or 3 of his turnovers led to direct goals for Essendon. And I'm just saying that because I remember that vividly. And I just remember thinking, well, you can't defend that. You can't defend as a side those type of turnovers. They're going to hurt you going back the other way. And that's what happened. So I was just like, okay, I see. That's how Essendon are going to score from our own wrongdoings, blunders, if you want to call it that. 1 from holding the ball, and then 2 from other poor kicks, maybe going inside our own 50. We were a little bit inefficient at times going inside 50, but we got it right in the second half. What do we end up having? So we had 27 scoring shots from how many inside 50s? 59. So just under 50%, which is a pretty good clip. It's a pretty good clip. And I think that was probably thanks to our second half. Would we say second half? How many? We had 4, 8, 13, 15 scoring shots in the second half compared to our 12 in the first. So a little bit more cleaner going inside 50 when it mattered in the second half, which is what gives us that handy little percentage boost. Where are we? In the old percentage on the ladder right now? We're first on the ladder, which is most important. And our percentage is 140%. I'll keep saying this. At the start of the year after that Richmond game, I said there's a 2011 vibe about this team. There was a 2011 vibe about this team. And that was where our percentage sat in 2011. So for Nick Daicos, while he had Sorry, guys, no intruder in the house. It's just a frame that fell off the wall. Thanks, Beanie. make me shit my pants. Nick Daicos, couple turnovers, but probably set the tone with that goal early in the game. I'll still give him an 8 out of 10. Oh, I just shat myself, didn't I? Got to check my pants after that. Goodness gracious. I was ready to throw hands. Anyways, guys, that's it for the player ratings. Thanks for those of you who are in the post-game show right now and stuck around for the player ratings. And until next time, go Pies.